Hello, everyone, and welcome to this evening's beer review. Uh, it's a strange thing. I don't know how many local beers I'm going to be able to review now that I live on the other side of the island, ironically enough, just because it's a little bit harder for me to get to some place that sells uh, exclusively local beers. As you know, most of my local beer reviews were done via growler fill, which is not very economically feasible for me right now, or you know, I have quite a ways to go. Please ignore the barking. That's my landlord's dog's barking. So basically, I'll review what I can when I can. And being that this is October, what better time to go and review Oktoberfest beers? So I've already had the Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest, and they didn't do a collaboration this year, oddly enough, probably because of COVID. But for some reason, Golden Road Brewing out of Los Angeles did a did an Oktoberfest collaboration with Spaten of all places. Spaten Brewery in Germany being one of the most well-regarded makers of traditional German lagers. I actually have about 4 bottles left of their Doppelbock. I absolutely adore their Doppelbock Celebrator. And it's not really Doppelbock season yet, but I saw it for sale like $9, a little under $10 for a sixer, and it's like, yeah, just go and grab it while it's on sale, and you see it because it's not too often I'll find a Doppelbock here in Hawaii, and a Doppelbock, on sale. So I grabbed it, and it's actually still relatively fresh. Um, but enough about that. Let's just go on to this beer. This is 5.8 ABV. So about the same strength as the Spaten Oktoberfest slash Marzen. Very interesting can art, don't you think? I've never seen can art this busy before. And Golden Road, it's oddly distributed here in Hawaii. You'll find it at all the 7-Eleven convenience stores, but I think the only grocery chain that carries it is Times, which is not one of the ones that are really well known for their. They don't really have a great alcohol selection except for the Fujioka wine shop that's attached to a couple of them. Um, so it's kind of interesting how the three-tier system of beer distribution and alcohol distribution in Hawaii works sometimes. So I've been yammering on for 3 minutes. It's been a long while since I've had a chance to go and yammer on about one of my favorite subjects in the world, beer. And let's just get to it, shall we? So I've already had a couple of these. Stephen Harrington, I guess that's the guy who did the art for this. Golden Road kind of gives me like LA hipster vibes, to tell the truth. Silver Lake district kind of thing. So, a nice golden amber color, very well carbonated. Look at that. You can see it spinning. Wonderful. With an off-white to slightly, off-white to slightly beige, thick, frothy head, well carbonated. Somewhat nutty, nice grainy cereal smell to it. And a touch of floral hops to the backbone there. But definitely a malt show, as a Marzen or an Oktoberfest beer should be. Not as light as the Spaten Oktoberfest is, but lighter than most American Marzen's Oktoberfest beers are. Well, let's get to the tasting, shall we? Sweet bread, caramelly up front. Not intensely sweet bread, but you know, sweetish bread. Swedish bread. Sweet-ish. Sweet bread? The, the slight touch of bittering hops shows up in the mids and into the finish. Finish is fairly clean while it is still nice and cold, with just a hint of lingering florals in the effervescent. Good carbonation bite, as might be expected from something that was not carbonated visibly. All in all, nice baked bread sort of touch to it. I'm enjoying it. All in all, while it's pretty cold, it's very enjoyable. Now, I had I bought a sixer of this, so I had a couple of cans last night, and so while it is right now straight out of the fridge, quite enjoyable. But if you have it at, say, at a warmer temperature, as you would, in traditional style, served between, I guess, 50 and 60 degrees, it starts getting a little bit cloying in its malt sweetness. Yes, it is. It's pretty perfectly balanced right now when it's warm. I mean, when it's pretty chilled. And you can just imagine, quaffing a big old mug of this while eating some mashed potatoes and Wiener Schnitzel, or maybe German potato salad. I mean, mashed potatoes. Yeah. It's not what they call it in Bavaria. All in all, so it was pretty cool. That sweetness, that caramel aspect is just right. Don't let it sit out for about half an hour though, and or it'll start getting a little bit cloying. Your mileage may vary, as with all things. Some people would find it perfect then. I find that the very light touch of hops that this has just kind of disappears under that load of residual sugar, and the clean finish starts disappearing. No doubt, I think has been made to suit more American beer beer consumption patterns, in which we generally drink beers at a much cooler temperature or colder temperature than, say, they would in the old world. And that's perhaps why it's so great straight out of the can here. And let me show you the great art now, since it's decided to go like that. And not so much if you let it sit out, or you try to have it at a more traditional drinking temperature. So drink this as you would most American made lagers. So, with that, what can I say about Golden Road's Oktoberfest beer? It's a limited edition. If you can find it, give it a shot. I think I'd say yeah. Um, it's pretty darn good when it's, straight out of the fridge, straight off the ice cold draft, I suppose. But you probably wouldn't want to have it at, a traditional beer garden temperature. So, that's your beer review for tonight, folks. It's time for me to go and make some Chef Boyardee because I'm poor. This is my pleasure, man. And yeah, that's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.